New York City never truly sleeps. But on this particular evening, something about Manhattan felt unusually calm, almost as if the city itself was holding its breath. Streetlights reflected across damp pavement after a light afternoon rain. Yellow taxis slid through intersections like slow-moving lanterns. Conversations echoed from late-night cafes. Somewhere in the distance, a saxophone player filled the air with a melody that sounded nostalgic, unfinished. And then it happened. A black SUV pulled quietly to the curb outside a small, upscale restaurant tucked between two historic brownstones. No flashing lights. No announcement. No security chaos. Just a door opening. First, a familiar silhouette stepped out, tall, athletic, relaxed but alert. For a split second, nobody noticed. Then someone whispered, "Wait, is that Travis?" Phones lifted instantly. A second later, another figure emerged beside him, blonde hair catching the glow of streetlight, laughter already forming before cameras even focused. Taylor Swift. The sidewalk energy changed instantly. People froze. Not because celebrities were present. New York sees celebrities every day, but because something about this moment felt different. They weren't posing. They weren't performing. They looked normal. And strangely, that's what shocked everyone the most. But what happened next changed the way fans would interpret this relationship forever. In a world where every celebrity move is documented, rarity becomes meaningful. For months, the relationship between Taylor and Travis had unfolded across stadium appearances, cheering sections, viral reactions, and headline speculation. Millions watched their story like an ongoing series, each public appearance another episode. But public moments are controlled moments. Game day cameras know where to look. Award shows follow choreography. Social media shows edited reality. This night in New York was different. No announcement had been made. No event scheduled. No reason for them to be seen. And that's exactly why people couldn't stop watching. Because sometimes, the smallest moments reveal the biggest truths. What would you do if every step outside your home could become global news? Would you still go out? Would you still risk being seen? Or would you slowly disappear behind privacy walls? That night, they chose to step outside anyway. And nobody realized yet how much courage that required. To understand the weight of that evening, you have to understand where both of them came from, emotionally, not just professionally. Taylor had spent nearly 2 decades living inside stories written about her. Every relationship analyzed. Every lyric dissected. Every silence interpreted as a message. Fame had given her unimaginable success, but it had also taken something quietly human, the ability to exist without explanation. Meanwhile, Travis lived in a different spotlight. Football fame is loud, but temporary. Careers depend on performance cycles, injuries, seasons. Athletes are celebrated fiercely, but judged just as quickly. He was known for charisma, humor, confidence, a personality larger than the field itself. But behind that confidence existed something familiar, exhaustion from always being on. When their worlds collided, fans saw spectacle. But insiders saw something else. 2 people who understood pressure in completely different languages, yet somehow translated each other perfectly. Still, relationships under global attention rarely survive unchanged. And by the time this New York trip happened, both of them had already begun adjusting their lives in ways the public never saw. Late-night flights instead of public arrivals. Private dinners replacing crowded venues. Moments carefully chosen rather than spontaneous. So why this night? Why step into one of the busiest cities on Earth without hiding? The answer wasn't publicity. It was something far more human. They wanted one normal evening. Just one. Inside the restaurant, conversations resumed cautiously after their arrival. Staff tried to remain professional, though whispers traveled quickly between tables. Taylor laughed at something Travis said, Not the polite laugh cameras usually capture, but the uncontrolled kind that makes people briefly forget where they are. For a moment, they blended into the background. And then the crowd outside grew. Word spreads differently in New York. Not through announcements, through instinct. A passerby texts a friend. A fan recognizes a reflection in glass. A delivery driver pauses too long. Within minutes, dozens gathered. Then hundreds. Phones pressed against windows. Security exchanged quiet glances. And suddenly, the ordinary evening began slipping away. Inside, Taylor noticed first. Her smile softened. Not gone, just aware. Travis leaned closer, saying something quietly. She nodded. To outsiders, it looked like nothing. But psychologically, this was the turning point. Because fame doesn't interrupt moments loudly. It interrupts them slowly until you realize privacy has already disappeared. What would you do in that moment? Leave immediately? Stay and pretend nothing changed? Or hold on to the night anyway? They chose to stay. And no one outside understood how meaningful that decision really was. When they finally stepped back onto the sidewalk, flashes erupted instantly. Shouts overlapped. Questions flew from every direction. But instead of rushing into the waiting vehicle, Travis paused. He turned toward Taylor, not toward cameras, and adjusted her coat gently against the cold wind. It lasted maybe 2 seconds. No dramatic gesture. No performance. Just instinct. And strangely, the crowd went quieter. Because authenticity feels different when you see it live. Taylor looked up at him, surprised, almost shy, before laughing again. That small interaction spread online within minutes. Millions replayed it. Not because it was glamorous. Because it felt real. And suddenly, public perception shifted. This wasn't just a headline relationship anymore. People began seeing partnership instead of publicity. But the night still wasn't over. And what happened during the car ride away would never be photographed, yet would matter the most. The door closed. Noise disappeared instantly. For the first time that evening, silence surrounded them. City lights moved across the windows as the car pulled into traffic. Taylor leaned back, exhaling slowly, the kind of breath someone takes after holding composure too long. Travis laughed softly. "Worth it?" he asked.
She paused.
Then smiled. "Yeah," she said. It felt normal. And that single word carried years of meaning. Normal meant no stage. No expectations. No audience deciding who they were supposed to be. Just two people sharing dinner in a city that didn't allow anonymity, yet trying anyway. Outside, Manhattan rushed forward endlessly. Inside, something quieter was happening. They were learning how to exist together inside chaos. And that realization changed everything.